7. Aldi cheeses you should never touch. And 5. You must eat to melt fat and heal. Aldi sells cheese with ingredients banned in Europe, and it's sitting in your fridge right now. Some Aldi cheeses are loaded with cellulose, wood pulp filler. Others contain natamycin, a mold inhibitor linked to gut disruption. The label says cheese. The ingredients say chemistry experiment. But here's what's wild. Some Aldi cheeses are cleaner than Whole Foods at half the price. Today, I'm exposing 7 Aldi cheeses destroying your gut, and 5 that actually help fat loss and healing. Stick around. Number 1 is marketed as healthy. It's the worst on the shelf. Let's expose them all. Never touch. The 7 worst Aldi cheeses. It's just 7. Happy Farm. American cheese singles, the worst. These aren't cheese. They're pasteurized, prepared cheese product. That legal distinction exists because they can't legally be called cheese. Open the ingredient list and it reads like a chemistry experiment. Milk, whey, milk fat, milk protein concentrate, sodium citrate, calcium phosphate, whey, protein concentrate, salt, lactic acid, sorbic acid, sodium phosphate, artificial color, enzymes, vitamin D3. That's 14 ingredients. Real cheese has 3 to 4. Milk, salt, cultures, enzymes. The first problem is the processing. These singles are heated, emulsified with phosphates, and reformed into uniform square. That process destroys most of the beneficial nutrients and probiotics found in real cheese. The second problem is the additives. Sodium phosphate and calcium phosphate are used as emulsifier. They help create that uniform melting texture, but research links high phosphate intake to inflammation, cardiovascular problems, and kidney issues. The third problem is what's missing. Real cheese contains vitamin K2, conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, and beneficial bacteria. American cheese singles contain none of these. You're getting calories without nutrition. The fourth problem is how your body processes it. The emulsifiers and phosphates can disrupt your gut microbiome. Studies show that food emulsifiers damage the intestinal barrier, increase inflammation, and contribute to metabolic disorders. At 60 calories and 4.5 grams fat per slice, these aren't even lower calorie than real cheese. You're getting all the downsides of processed food with none of the benefits of real cheese. Nutritionists are unanimous. American cheese singles aren't real food. They're food-like products that belong in the same category as margarine and Cool Whip, engineering experiments that happen to be edible. One registered dietitian said, if it can't legally be called cheese, don't eat it. Your body doesn't recognize these processed food. They trigger inflammation and confuse your metabolism. Skip these entirely. If you want convenient cheese for sandwiches, buy real cheese and slice it yourself. What comes next at number 8 is more insidious because it looks like real cheese. It's sold as real cheese. You think you're buying actual cheese, but there's a hidden ingredient that changes everything. 6. Happy Farm shredded cheese blend. Taco, Mexican, Italian. Pre-shredded cheese seems convenient. Grab a bag, sprinkle on tacos or pasta, done. But there's a reason it doesn't stick together in the bag. Cellulose, powdered cellulose. It's added to prevent clumping, and it's literally wood pulp. Check the ingredient label on any Aldi shredded cheese blend. You'll see cellulose powder or powdered cellulose to prevent caking. It's made from processed plant fiber, usually wood or cotton. Is it safe? Technically, yes. The FDA approves it, but here's the problem. Cellulose is an indigestible fiber that adds bulk without nutrition. You're eating filler. You're paying cheese prices for wood pulp. The second issue is the cheese quality. Pre-shredded cheese uses lower grade cheese than block. Manufacturers can blend different batches, different ages, different qualities. You're getting inconsistent product. The third issue is freshness. Pre-shredded cheese oxidizes faster. Those microscopic surface areas exposed to air mean faster deterioration. The cheese loses flavor, develops off tastes, and degrades nutritionally. The fourth issue is what else gets added. These blends often contain natamycin, a mold inhibitor, and potassium sorbate, a preservative. More chemicals your body has to process. One nutritionist explained, your body has to work harder to digest pre-shredded cheese because of the additives. And the cellulose? Your gut bacteria can't break it down efficiently. It can cause bloating and digestive discomfort. Buy cheese blocks instead, shred them yourself. It takes 30 seconds with a box grater. You get better cheese, better flavor, better nutrition, and no wood pulp. Now, number 5 sits in the specialty section, looks fancy, and is somehow even worse than what we've covered so far. 5. Emporium Selection Pub Cheese Spread. Cheese spread sounds like cheese. It's marketed as cheese. It sits in the cheese section. But read the label and you'll see it's mostly oil. The ingredient list: cheddar cheese, water, cream, beer, modified food starch, whey, sodium phosphate, salt, lactic acid, sodium alginate, sorbic acid, artificial flavor, artificial color. Notice what comes before actual cheese? Water. The primary ingredient after cheese is water. You're buying diluted cheese mixed with thickeners and stabilizers. Modified food starch is used to create texture. It's heavily processed and can spike blood sugar. For people managing insulin resistance or diabetes, this is problematic. Sodium phosphate appears again, the same emulsifier that causes inflammation and disrupts gut health. Sodium Sodium alginate is a thickener derived from seaweed. It's used to create that spreadable texture. More processing, more additives. The artificial flavor and artificial color are particularly concerning. The label doesn't specify what these are. You're eating mystery chemicals that don't have to be disclosed. At 80 calories and 7 grams fat per 2 tablespoons, it's not even lower calorie than real cheese. You're getting the same calories with inferior ingredient. One functional medicine doctor said, cheese spreads are ultra-processed foods disguised as dairy. Your body treats them like junk food, not like nutritious cheese. They trigger insulin spikes and inflammation without providing the beneficial nutrients found in real cheese. If you want cheese for crackers, buy real aged cheddar. Slice it thin. It tastes better and doesn't contain mystery chemicals. But here's where the deception gets really clever, because number 4 isn't marketed as cheap or convenient, it's marketed as healthy. But it's one of the most damaging products in the entire cheese section. 4. Happy Farms. Fat-free cheese. Fat-free cheese sounds healthy. Lower calories, less fat, better for weight loss, right? Wrong. Fat-free cheese is a nutritional disaster. Here's why. Cheese gets its texture, flavor, and satisfying quality from fat. Remove the fat and you have to replace it with something. Manufacturers use modified food starch, cellulose gel, carrageenan, and guar gum. The ingredient list for Happy Farms: fat-free mozzarella, skim milk, modified food starch, whey protein concentrate, calcium chloride, salt, potassium sorbate, sodium citrate, cellulose gel, lactic acid, enzymes, vitamin A palmitate. That's 11 ingredients. Real mozzarella has 4: milk, salt, enzymes, cultures. The problem with removing fat is you remove the fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamin A, D, E, and K. 2 all require fat for absorption. Fat-free cheese lacks these nutrients or adds synthetic versions that your body doesn't absorb well. Worse, fat-free cheese doesn't satisfy you. Fat triggers satiety signals in your brain. Without it, you eat more. Studies show that people who eat fat-free dairy consume more calories overall because they never feel satisfied. The texture is wrong, rubbery, doesn't melt properly, tastes like plastic. Your brain knows something is off, which reduces satisfaction and increases craving. One nutrition researcher explained, fat-free cheese is a perfect example of how food industry processing creates worse outcomes. You remove a nutrient, fat, that's essential for satiety and vitamin absorption. You replace it with thickeners and stabilizer. The result is a product that makes you fatter, not thinner. Skip all fat-free cheese. Eat smaller portions of real, full-fat cheese. You'll be more satisfied, consume fewer calories overall, and actually absorb the nutrient. What's at number 3 hides in the frozen section, but it's feeding your family industrial fillers disguised as Italian food. 3. Priano cheese ravioli, processed cheese filling. Cheese ravioli sounds like a reasonable dinner option. Contains cheese, tastes good, but check the filling and you'll find it's barely cheese. The filling ingredient list includes ricotta cheese, breadcrumbs, Romano cheese, mozzarella cheese, water, modified cornstarch, whey, salt, sugar, dehydrated parsley, spices. The problem? Water and modified cornstarch are listed prominently. The filling is diluted with water and thickened with processed starch. You're getting less cheese than you think. Modified cornstarch is a refined carbohydrate that spikes blood sugar. It offers no nutritional value and adds empty calories. For anyone managing weight or blood sugar, this is problematic. The breadcrumbs are used as filler. More refined carbs, less protein, lower nutritional density. Sugar is added to the filling. Why does cheese filling need added sugar? To enhance flavor in a product that lacks the depth of real cheese. Compare this to homemade cheese ravioli or high-quality fresh pasta. The filling would be primarily cheese with minimal additives. Rich, creamy, satisfying. This processed version tastes hollow in comparison. At 270 calories per 5-ounce serving with 9 grams protein, the macros aren't impressive. You could eat 2 ounces of real cheese and get more protein with fewer carbs and no processed additive. One Italian food expert said, traditional ravioli filling is simple. Fresh ricotta, Parmigiano Reggiano, egg, salt, maybe nutmeg. This processed filling is an insult to Italian food. It's cheap ingredients dressed up to look like quality pasta. If you want ravioli, buy fresh from the refrigerated section or make your own. Avoid the frozen processed versions with diluted filling, but we're only at number 3. And if you think we've covered the worst offenders, you're wrong, because what's coming at number 2 isn't even trying to be cheese, it's liquid. And somehow, it's even more chemical laden than everything we've discussed so far. 2. Cheese sauce, nacho cheese or cheddar cheese sauce. Cheese sauce in a jar or can seems convenient for nachos or vegetable, but it's mostly oil, water, and thickeners with some cheese powder. Look at the ingredient list for typical cheese sauce. Water, soybean oil, modified cornstarch, cheddar cheese, whey, maltodextrin, salt, sodium phosphate, lactic acid, yellow 5, yellow 6, natural flavor. Water and soybean oil are the primary ingredient. The actual cheese content is minimal. You're eating emulsified oil that's been colored yellow and flavored to taste like cheese. Soybean oil is a highly processed industrial seed oil. It's high in omega-6 fatty acids, which promote inflammation when consumed in excess. Most Americans already consume too much omega-6. This makes it worse. Modified cornstarch and maltodextrin are refined carbohydrates carbohydrates that spike insulin. They're used as thickeners but add empty calories without nutrition. Sodium phosphate appears again, the inflammation-promoting emulsifier found in processed cheese product. Yellow 5 and yellow 6 are artificial colors. Studies link these dyes to hyperactivity in children and potential allergic reactions. Your body has to detoxify these chemicals. At 45 calories and 3 grams fat per 2 tablespoons, it seems low calorie, but nobody eats just 2 tablespoons. A normal serving on nachos is 6 to 8 tablespoons, 180 to 240 calories of processed oil and chemicals. One nutritionist said, cheese sauce is to real cheese what Cool Whip is to whipped cream. It's an ultra-processed food product designed for convenience and shelf stability, not nutrition. It promotes inflammation and provides almost no beneficial nutrients. Make real cheese sauce instead. Melt real cheese with a splash of milk. Takes 3 minutes, tastes infinitely better, actually contains nutrient. You know what you're getting? You're making a conscious choice to eat junk. But number 1, the final product on our avoid list, it's packaged to look innocent, portion controlled, and millions of people eat it thinking they're making a smart, healthy choice. They're not. 1. Laughing Cow cheese wedges. Laughing Cow seems innocent. Small wedges, portion controlled, real cheese. But check the ingredient list and you'll find it's heavily processed. Ingredients: Swiss cheese, milk, whey, milk protein concentrate, calcium phosphate, sodium citrate, salt, lactic acid, sorbic acid. The cheese is processed with emulsifiers, calcium phosphate, sodium citrate, to create that smooth, spreadable texture. These emulsifiers disrupt gut bacteria and promote inflammation. The wedges are ultra-pasteurized for shelf stability. This process kills beneficial bacteria and reduces nutritional quality. Real cheese contains probiotics. Laughing Cow contains none. The texture is wrong, too smooth, too uniform. Real cheese has texture variation. This has been emulsified into homogeneity. The flavor is bland, oversalted to compensate for lack of depth. Real aged cheese has complex flavors from fermentation. This tastes like dairy-flavored paste. At 50 calories per wedge, they're marketed as diet-friendly, but they're not satisfying. People eat multiple wedges because one doesn't satisfy. You end up eating 150 to 200 calories of processed cheese product instead of 100 calories of real cheese that would actually fill you up. One registered dietitian explained, Laughing Cow is another example of food engineering creating inferior products. The emulsifiers used to create that texture are the same ones shown in research to damage intestinal health. You're trading gut health for convenience. Buy real cheese, brie, goat cheese, or cream cheese. Spread it on crackers. You'll be more satisfied and you won't be eating emulsifiers. So those are the 7 cheeses to avoid. The processed, chemical-laden, nutrient-void products disguised as cheese. Walk past them. Don't be tempted by convenience or price. But we're not here to just tell you what to avoid, because Aldi also sells incredible cheeses. Real, nutritious, health-promoting cheeses that support fat loss, reduce inflammation, and provide essential nutrients. And if you're ready to discover which cheeses actually heal your body, hit that like button and subscribe, because the 5 cheeses coming next are going to change how you think about dairy forever. Must eat: the 5 best Aldi cheeses for fat loss and healing. 5. Emporium Selection Grass-Fed Irish Cheddar. This is real cheese. Aged cheddar made from grass-fed cow's milk. 3 ingredients: pasteurized milk, salt, cultures. Why grass-fed matters: cows that eat grass produce milk with higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and conjugated linoleic acid, CLA. Both support fat loss and reduce inflammation. CLA is particularly important. Studies show CLA helps reduce body fat, especially abdominal fat. It works by increasing fat oxidation and reducing fat storage. Grass-fed cheese contains 3 to 5 times more CLA than grain-fed cheese. The omega-3 content in grass-fed dairy is 50 to 100% higher than conventional dairy. Omega-3s reduce inflammation, support brain health, and improve cardiovascular function. Grass-fed cheese also contains more vitamin K2. K2 is essential for bone health and cardiovascular health. It prevents calcium from depositing in arteries and directs it to bones instead. The flavor is superior. Grass-fed cheddar is more complex, with nutty and slightly sweet notes. The aging process develops depth. This isn't bland grocery store cheddar. The texture is firm and crumbly with those crystalline bits that indicate proper aging. High-quality aged cheddar. At 110 calories per ounce with 7 grams protein and 9 grams fat, the macros are excellent. The fat is mostly saturated fat, which despite decades of bad press, doesn't cause heart disease. Recent research shows saturated fat from dairy is neutral or beneficial for heart health. One nutrition researcher explained, grass-fed cheese is one of the most nutrient-dense foods available. Combination of CLA, omega-3s, vitamin K2, and high-quality protein makes it excellent for fat loss and overall health. The key is eating it in moderate portions. Use this cheese for everything: snacking, salads, melted on vegetables. The nutrient density means a little goes a long way, but we're just getting started with the good stuff. Because number 4 is a cheese that most people think is indulgent, decadent, something you eat occasionally as a treat, the kind of food diet culture told you to avoid. 4. Specially selected triple cream brie. Brie might seem indulgent, but it's surprisingly beneficial for health. When it's real, brie made traditionally. This is triple cream brie with 60% butterfat. Ingredients: pasteurized cow's milk, cream, salt, cultures. The high fat content is actually beneficial. Brie's fat is primarily saturated and monounsaturated, the fats that support hormone production, brain function, and cellular health. The cultures used to make brie are probiotic. They survive the aging process and provide beneficial bacteria for your gut. A healthy gut microbiome is essential for weight management, immune function, and reducing inflammation. Brie is rich in conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, from the cream. As mentioned earlier, CLA supports fat loss and reduces inflammation. The texture and richness make brie highly satisfying. You eat less because a small portion satisfies you completely. 1 ounce of brie, about 2 tablespoons, contains enough fat to trigger satiety signals. Brie contains vitamin A, B12, riboflavin, and selenium. These nutrients support immune function, energy production, and antioxidant activity. At 110 calories per ounce, with 5 grams protein and 9 grams fat, it's calorically similar to other cheeses, but far more satisfying. The richness means you naturally eat less. One functional medicine doctor said, triple cream brie is an excellent food for people trying to lose weight. The high fat content triggers satiety. The probiotics support gut health. The nutrient density means you're nourishing your body while eating fewer calories overall. Serve brie at room temperature with apple slices or berries. The combination of fat, protein, and fiber from the fruit creates a perfectly balanced snack that stabilizes blood sugar. And we're only at number 4. The top 3 cheeses ahead aren't just good, they're transformative. They're the foods that prove you can eat rich, satisfying dairy and still lose fat, reduce inflammation, and feel incredible. 3. Specially selected. Aged reserve white cheddar. This is properly aged white cheddar, 12 plus months of aging, made from high quality milk. Ingredients: pasteurized milk, salt, cheese cultures. The aging process concentrates nutrients and develops beneficial compounds. Aged cheese contains higher levels of vitamin K2, calcium, and bioavailable protein. The crystalline bits in aged cheddar are concentrated calcium lactate and amino acids. These crystals indicate quality aging and provide highly absorbable minerals. Aged cheddar is lower in lactose than young cheese. The aging process breaks down lactose. People with mild lactose sensitivity often tolerate aged cheese better than fresh cheese. The protein in aged cheddar is partially broken down by enzymes during aging. This makes it easier to digest and the amino acids more bioavailable. The sharp, complex flavor means you need less cheese to feel satisfied. A small amount packs intense flavor. This naturally leads to portion control. Aged cheddar is rich in tyramine, an amino acid that can boost metabolism and energy. Some studies suggest tyramine may support fat oxidation, though more research is needed. At 120 calories per ounce with 7 grams protein, aged cheddar provides substantial nutrition. The protein supports muscle maintenance during fat loss. The fat keeps you satisfied for hours. One sports nutritionist said, "I recommend aged cheddar to clients trying to lose fat while maintaining muscle." The high-quality protein, combined with the satisfying fat content and low lactose, makes it ideal for body recomposition. Eat aged cheddar as a snack, grated on salads or melted on vegetables. The intense flavor enhances simple foods. But we're not done yet, because the top 2 aren't just good cheese. They're specialty items that solve specific problems most people face when trying to lose weight and heal their bodies. 2. Emporium selection. Goat cheese, Chevre. Goat cheese is nutritionally superior to cow's milk cheese in several ways. It's easier to digest, higher in certain nutrients, and contains a different fat structure. Ingredients: pasteurized goat's milk, salt, cultures, simple and pure. The first advantage is digestibility. Goat's milk contains less casein A1, the protein many people react to, and more casein A2. This makes it easier to digest for people who have trouble with cow's milk. The fat globules in goat's milk are smaller than cow's milk fat globules. This makes them easier for your body to break down and absorb. You digest goat cheese more efficiently. Goat cheese is naturally lower in lactose than cow's milk cheese. The fermentation process reduces lactose further. Most lactose-sensitive people tolerate goat cheese well. The nutrient profile is impressive. Goat cheese contains more medium-chain fatty acids, MCFAS, than cow's milk cheese. MCFAS are metabolized differently. They're burned for energy rather than stored as fat. This supports fat loss. Goat cheese is higher in calcium, vitamin A, and potassium than cow's milk cheese. The bioavailability of these nutrients is excellent. The probiotic content in cultured goat cheese supports gut health. A healthy gut microbiome is essential for weight management and reducing inflammation. At 75 calories per ounce with 5 grams protein and 6 grams fat, it's slightly lower in calories than cow's milk cheese while being more nutrient dense and easier to digest. One integrative medicine doctor said, "I recommend goat cheese to clients with inflammatory conditions or digestive issues. It's one of the most well-tolerated dairy products. The nutrient density and MCFAs make it excellent for fat loss. Use goat cheese on salads, spread on vegetables, or mix with herbs as a dip. The tangy flavor adds depth to simple meals." 1. Happy Farms. Plain Greek yogurt, full fat. The best. This isn't cheese, but it's in the cheese section, and it's the single most beneficial dairy product Aldi sells. Ingredients. Cultured, pasteurized, grade A milk. That's it. 2 words. 1 real ingredient. Greek yogurt is protein dense. 1 cup contains 20 to 23 grams protein. This supports muscle maintenance, increases satiety, and boosts metabolism. High-protein diets consistently outperform low-protein diets for fat loss. The probiotics in Greek yogurt are powerful. The live cultures support gut health, reduce inflammation, improve digestion, and strengthen immune function. Research shows that probiotic-rich foods support weight loss by improving gut bacteria balance. Full-fat Greek yogurt is crucial. The fat helps you absorb fat-soluble vitamins, it triggers satiety hormones, it stabilizes blood sugar. Studies show that people who eat full-fat dairy lose more weight than people who eat low-fat dairy. The calcium content is high. Calcium plays a role in fat metabolism. Studies suggest that adequate calcium intake supports fat loss, particularly from the abdominal area. Greek yogurt is versatile. Use it as a base for smoothies. Top it with berries and nuts. Use it as a sour cream substitute. Mix it with herbs for a healthy dip. The thickness and richness make it incredibly satisfying. 1 cup keeps you full for 4 to 5 hours. This naturally reduces snacking and overall calorie intake. At 150 calories per cup with 20 grams protein and 8 grams fat, the macros are perfect for fat loss. High protein, moderate fat, low carb. One registered dietitian specializing in weight loss said, "Full-fat Greek yogurt is my #1 recommendation for clients trying to lose fat. The combination of high protein, probiotics, and satisfying fat content makes it the perfect food for sustainable fat loss. It's nutrient-dense, filling, and versatile." The research backs this up. Multiple studies show that people who eat yogurt regularly, especially Greek yogurt, lose more weight and body fat than people who don't. The probiotic content appears to play a key role. Eat Greek yogurt daily, morning, afternoon snack, or as a dessert base. It's the single best dairy product for fat loss and overall health. If this guide helped you navigate Aldi's cheese section with confidence, hit that like button and subscribe. We're exposing the truth about grocery store foods so you can make informed decisions about what you put in your body. Next time you're at Aldi, skip the American cheese singles, the pre-shredded blends, and the cheese spreads. Head straight for the grass-fed cheddar, the aged cheese, the goat cheese, and the Greek yogurt. Check out the video on your screen. We're ranking the best and worst Aldi products in every category so you never waste money or damage your health on the wrong items again.